Thank you for purchasing a DF405 Hyperextension bench by Deltech Fitness. Your DF405 will ship in 2 boxes, including A. Feet, B. Leg hold down, C. Seat frame, D. Rear support post, E. Front support post, F. Lower cross member, G. Upper cross member, H. Seat pads, instructions, a hardware pack including 20 M12 bolts, 40 M12 washers, 4 M10 bolts, and 4 M10 washers, pull pins, cap, Q, brackets, R, triangle bracket, S, mushroom caps, a clamp flange, T, roller pads. We're going to start by assembling the frame from the ground up. Grab the lower cross member. The rear triangle bracket will be the back of the bench. Next, grab the feet. The feet that have the wheels on it will be the back foot. If the rubber feet aren't installed, make sure that they're going the right direction. There's a flat top to the wheel bracket. The flat top will go upward. Next, grab the triangle flange, the clamp flange, and 4 of the M12 bolts, 8 washers, and 4 nuts. Start by sliding a washer over the bolt, then through the clamp flange, through the foot, through the flange in the lower cross member, then top it off with another washer and lock nut. Repeat the same steps for the bolts in the back triangle flange, but don't tighten anything at this time. Now we're going to install the first 2 L brackets. The bottom part of the L will be positioned facing toward the back foot. Bolt the L bracket to the lower cross member with the same bolts, washers, and nuts. Next, we're going to grab the front support post. The front support post has a slanted flange on top. The taller side will go toward the front of the bench. Install the front support post with the same M12 washers, bolts, and nuts. Next, we're going to install the rear support post with 2 more of the same M12 washers, nuts, and bolts. Slide the rear support post between the 2 triangle flanges, then bolt everything together. With both front and rear support posts bolted to the frame, we're going to grab the remaining L brackets. The long sides of the L brackets will be facing toward each other, and the short sides will be facing down. Use 4 more of the same bolts to bolt everything together with washers and lock nuts. With all of the L brackets in place, it's time to install the upper cross member. Grab the upper cross member and 4 more of the M12 bolts. Start by getting a bolt started on each side, then install the other bolts. Now that the frame is completely bolted together, it's time to tighten everything down. I like to start with just the bolts that tighten the feet down to make sure that the bench is level on the ground, then I move on to the rest of the bolts around the bench. All Deltech products come with something called lock nuts, which means there is a nylon insert in the nut that you have to tighten through. The nylon insert then keeps the bolts tight over time. You must use 2 wrenches to get the bolts tight. Once both the front and rear foot have been tightened down, go ahead and tighten down the rest of the triangle flange, followed by the rest of the frame. Now that everything's tight, it's time to install the seat frame. The seat frame has 2 handles, and they'll go on the bottom. Grab the remaining 2 M12 bolts, washers, and lock nuts, and bolt it into place. Snug down the first bolt, and then make sure that the seat frame is square to the flange on the front support post. Then tighten the other bolt. Now it's time to install the seat pads. Grab the 4 M10 bolts and washers. From underneath the bench, lift up the pad, then find the hole with the bolt, and screw them into place. Once all 4 bolts are in, snug them down by hand, then grab your 17mm wrench and tighten everything down. Don't over-tighten the pad, because you could over-rotate the T-nut inside the plywood on the bottom of the pad. Next, we're going to install the square cap in the top of the rear support post. Once the cap has been installed, grab your leg hold down. Slide the leg hold down over the rear support post and line up the bung for the pull pin with one of the holes. This pull pin is a locking pull pin, so if you tighten it all the way down, it won't move. Loosen it 1/4 turn to move it, then tighten it back to eliminate movement and wobble from the hold down. Next, we're going to install our roller pads. Tuck the strings of the roller pads into the vinyl, then slip the roller pads over the tubes of the leg hold down. Once the roller pads have been installed, go ahead and grab your mushroom caps and use a dumbbell or a dead blow hammer to gently tap the caps into place until they bottom out. Please don't use a framing hammer or something smaller than the cap because you will crack the cap. Next, grab the top leg hold down and install it the exact same way. Finally, it's time to install your Deltech Fitness decals, model number, and warning label. Thank you for choosing Deltech Fitness.